It's first of all, I just want to make it clear that no, it's not a clickbait title because we don't do that here. And you just need to listen to me before you proceed or have some conclusion. You must have heard about people on YouTube, blogs, and on TVs or etc. claiming that reading certain books or certain kind of books have literally changed their life. And since I always had this kick of doing something different from the curve, I present you 3 books which apparently did not change my life. And before you start thinking it to be some hate video about a particular author, about particular book or even a genre, let me tell you, I'm afraid that you're in the wrong channel because in this channel, we only spread love, happiness, care and respect just like you spread your legs. What? Is it a family channel? No non-veg jokes. Then how am I supposed to get the views? What? By producing good content. All the best on that, dude. Anyway, sure, books has an exceptional talent to tap into human brain and make them feel feelings which they thought never existed in themselves. And I myself had this experience of surreal feeling back in the days of 2016. It was a mixed feeling of sheer terror of not knowing the contents of R.K. Agarwal Advanced Mathematics because exam was due tomorrow, and on the other hand, immense joy of not having to study maths the day after the next day. I am not saying that book or books cannot change your life. Certainly it can, but for that you have to stop relying on the book as a one-and-all solution and start taking actions. Anyway, I'm not here to give you advice about life. I am here to provide you with 3 books that did not change my life. And every book I have listed here has some story behind it which was adjacent to my life. So sit back, relax and chill a bit because it's just story time. Okay, intellectual people, before you get offended, I think you should hear the story and it is an interesting one. I can assure you that. So what happened exactly? I got to know about this book from my friends, and apparently Yash Kothari, which you obviously know from my previous videos.
What? Oh, this is Yash, by the way.
He bought the book or got the book from somewhere, and he told me that he read this book in like 2 days, and I was literally taken aback because Yash Kothari is also not a reader technically. He has read only 2 books, I think, in his entire life. But he said he got half girlfriend from somewhere, and he said that he completed the book in 2 days, and the book was approximately 200 to 300 pages long, and I was taken aback. And I thought, if he can do that, why can't I? So I asked him to give me the book. Like, I received the book from him and I started reading. Usually what happens whenever I have read a book before that point, it was very much obvious that I would have read 2 to 3 chapters, and after that I would have lost interest in that book. But apparently in this one I was so engaged in reading, I completed the whole book in not 2 days but in 2 weeks maybe. And yeah, it felt great reading this book. Plus it was engaging and I loved what Chetan Bhagat had written. At that point of time I started liking reading and started watching videos about how to read faster, how to stay focused while reading, how to understand a book, how to get as much value as possible out from a book, especially this one, how to pronounce genre. At that point of time I also started watching series
because घर में नया वाईफाई लगाया था.
So I came across this amazing series called Sherlock in BBC, starring Martin Freeman and Benedict Egghatch. Well, you must be thinking why I'm talking about the series, because it was so amazing that I freaking bought a book with the same name, Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. So this was my first ever book purchase by myself, and I bought this during the session break in between 11 and 12, and I was so amazed by the series that I bought a physical book and I started reading about it. Then I found out the book was so thick. Wait, let me show you. This was the size of the book, and this is the book. And I started reading this book around 2016 and I stopped it. I bought this during my session break, and it was so thick. I completed till 2 chapters or 3 chapters, I don't remember exactly, but then I stopped reading totally and I forgot about this one, because then ISC came and I have to study for my exams and everything. So because of that, I couldn't complete the whole book because it was kept aside somewhere in the cupboard. Then after my ISC, I went on to watch more series, which apparently didn't mean that I did a lot of reading. And I think maybe another reason for not finishing this book was also I didn't quite enjoy the book as much I did with the series, because series was a little more, visualized and everything. But I think I was not into the reading groove. I was, I think, intimidated by the size of it. It's quite thick. After that, during this 2020 lockdown, I found out this book while cleaning my cupboard and everything. Then I decided to give it a try finally to read this book. And to be honest, I completed this book on 2020 around October or September. And literally, I bought this book in around 2016. It literally took me 4 years to complete this book. And I am a big believer of you learn something from each book you read. And from this book, I learned however intimidating someone is, with consistency, you can beat them. And the time when I did not read Sherlock Holmes, I was buying another books which were not fiction, and apparently those were non-fiction, like self-help books. And apparently I thought at that point of time my communication skills are not up to the mark, so I have to increase it somehow so that I can have great conversation with people and have a deeper connection level with my fellow humans. And by reading more, I got to know that I have to read more eclectic. By eclectic, I mean different and various kinds of topic around the world, so that I can have conversation with anyone and everyone in this entire planet, only if we can communicate through a common language. So I stumbled upon this great book by Yuval Noah Harari called Sapiens. And it was highly recommended by anyone who has read it.
I'm going to say this right now at the start of the video. This is one of the very best books I've ever read.
Okay, so I don't know what to say about this book. This is one of the legendary book ever produced in the entire world history of books. I know it's not even an exaggeration, man. To be honest, this book has literally changed my way of thinking. I wouldn't say life, because that was not the video about. I'm just being careful with the words. So during 2019, I was a graduate and I didn't have anything to do, so I started reading this book. But apparently I had to stop because I then did my postgraduate diploma in banking and finance. So I was a little busy with all my studies and with all my assignment, and so I had to stop reading. Plus, like, every page of this book was little intimidating because it gave me so much information to just process that my brain took 2 days at least after reading one page. Before 2019 was finished, I did finish the book and I kept it aside, but to be honest, I didn't read as thoroughly as I should have been. I was just going through the pages and pages, and it was a kind of a competition which was going on that I decided to do. And Yuval Noah Harari has said in the podcast by Tim Ferriss, and he was agreeing with the fact that no human who loves to be very specific couldn't write this kind of book, because this book has a general idea about money, about religion, about caste system, about how evolution started and everything. Like, you cannot be biased or be specialist in something in such a general view. So I think he did a great job, and this is kind of a book which I will 100% recommend. Just like the dentists recommend Colgate.
Colgate Total, #1 recommended by dental professionals.
And in conclusion, I just want to say this 3 books has my heart and has a story behind it, because it is so close to my life. So these 3 books did not change my life, but it technically changed the way I think, and I started reading. So technically, it is changing my life. I'm just kidding. It did technically change my life. The way I think, the way I look towards the world. And you don't have to be the greatest reader of all the time. You don't have to read 100 books in 1 year. You don't have to read all those kind of things. Just read to enjoy or to learn. And I think it will be great if you just read, because I think like every reader has their own way of reading and how they enjoy it. It's totally upon them how to read, how to enjoy the particular book. And I think there is no boundary. So when I was starting off as a reader, I didn't have anyone to guide me. If you are a non-reader who doesn't like to read, I think you should start reading by something which you like. For example, if you want to know more about business or something, you should start reading Wealth of Nation by Adam Smith. If you want to know more about bikes, you should also read something relating to bikes. If you want to know about cars and etc. and business and technology, there are books for each and every topic in the world. And I think apparently you can do the little bit of research, what to read, what not to read, and I think there are a lot of information in the books. So yeah, I will stop ranting about books now, and bye bye, take care. That's it from my side today.